Rebecca Rogers. Welcome back to my channel. Regardless, I'm so happy you're here. Oh, go ahead.
Hello, my friendie. I am Nicholas Roman, and you might also know me at, actually I can't say that. I am Eggman. How about that? That's PG. You can find me on Nicholas Roman on YouTube / XTheRomanEmpire on basically everything else.
As I promised you guys, I really want to do every other week, have a creator friend. We're good friends if he's willing to not say all the bad words on my channel. What?
Did you say good? Okay, I was like,
Nico, I'm gonna pay you after. Just chill out.
Oh.
Anyways, if you've never joined us before, it's Tuesday, meaning it's apple picking day. And if you're like, I have no idea what this psychotic lady is saying to me, people send in stories where they're not sure if they acted appropriately or not. We read them, we give our opinions. Are they a good apple, a bad apple, or a crab apple? But without further ado, let's get started with this week's episode of Am I the Bad Apple? Let's go apple picking! Apple number 1. Am I the bad apple for disrespecting someone's way of life? I, 30 female, work as a customer service employee at a well-known nationwide supercenter. I've worked there for over 7 years and love my job. For context, I live in an area that's very cold during the winter, and this happened about mid-December last year. Most of our managers are female, including my manager. I was cleaning my area as it wasn't very busy early in the morning when a customer came around the corner. She was a middle-aged woman completely bundled up. She was wearing a long puffy coat that went all the way down to her leather black boots and had a long knitted hat on, as well as a giant backpack with a sleeping roll attached to it. I stopped what I was doing and greeted her as I normally would and asked how I could help her. She looked at me disappointed and asked in a super impatient tone,
I need to speak with your manager, but I need a male manager.
I was taken aback for a moment before answering her. Yes, ma'am, I can get you a manager, but if you don't mind me asking, why does it have to be a male? She said without missing a beat,
Men have more authority and are superior.
I was shocked. I couldn't believe that came out of a woman's mouth, and I'm sure it showed on my face how angry she made me. Without thinking, I replied, well, that's just not true. Seeing the look she started to give me, my customer service voice switched back on, and I added, all of our managers have equal authority, despite their gender. She looked at me and scowled, well, I still want to talk to a man. Seething, but doing my best not to show it, I replied, I'll tell you what, ma'am. I'll call for a manager, and if it's a female, which it most likely is since most of our managers are at this store, you're welcome to ask her to call over a man for you, okay? I then called overhead for a manager to come talk to her. She started grumbling something after I was done and said,
Sorry if what I believe offended you.
But I ignored her and went back to cleaning. This is where I started to feel in the wrong. After a moment of waiting, this lady started to remove her backpack, her coat, her hat, and it immediately became apparent why she thought men were so superior. She was Amish. I knew we had a really large Amish community in the area, but they usually always travel in groups, and when they were at our store, I've never really seen any of them wear coats and hats like this one had. I immediately felt so bad, but my friend and manager came over and talked to this woman, and turns out all she wanted was permission to keep her backpack with her in the store so that no one thought she was stealing anything and felt like she had to ask a man's permission.
Bruh.
After she left, I ushered over my manager and explained the situation to her just in case anything came of it, and she brushed it off, saying that it was fine, and she knew I wasn't the type of person to just be mean and offend anyone, but even a month later, I still keep thinking about this. So, was I the bad apple?
No.
I don't think so either.
I literally think like that's a disconnect that neither one of them could have known. Like she didn't know she was Amish, and the Amish lady was not caught up in the fact that in our society, when you say things like that, people are like, excuse me?
Right.
She doesn't realize culturally she's belittling the person she's talking to. So naturally speaking, this gal would be offended because what the Amish lady just said was, yeah, you're inferior, which is why I want to talk to a man. And then she obviously responded accordingly. I would be annoyed too.
I would be so
I would be so annoyed. And so it's like, how are you going to know she's Amish?
I understand that Amish people have different beliefs and they have, a different kind of morality and a social structure and hierarchy, and that is, you do what you do, and that's your business. But in our society, that that's frowned on. You don't go to a store and say, I'm only gonna talk to a male manager. I have to ask a male manager the permission. That's not a thing. So I get that she feels really bad and she feels like she made this almond woman feel bad. But on the flip side, this woman was also kind of belittling the store employees' beliefs of equality. And I don't think like there was any malicious intent of trying to spite the other. It was just kind of a culture clash. So, you know, I don't think anyone's a bad apple. It's a good bushel.
Good bushel.
Good bushel of apples.
Just people doing their thing and believing what they believe.
Just a culture clash. Apple number 2. Am I the bad apple for not helping my family with my disabled sister? I, 28 female, have a sister, 21 female, who had an accident about 5 years ago when she was hit by a drunk driver. She's been paralyzed ever since. Now I'm engaged to a great man, 30 male, and recently my family's been going through a rough patch. My mom has been super sick lately and my dad's retired. I've been helping her out for a while, but they've become very financially dependent on me. Recently, my mom's been doing better and I've stopped lending them money as much, but now my sister's condition is getting worse and they can't afford the hospital bills. The worst part is they expect me to pay for them, and I told them that was absurd and that I can't do that for them, and my mom called me selfish. She said I'm being a jerk for not caring about them and my sister. I said that she was the one being selfish and just left her house. Now, she and my dad are refusing to come to my wedding, and they're refusing to bring my sister also. I thought I was in the right, but I've recently talked to my aunt, and she said that I should have just kept paying their bills until after the wedding so that it just wouldn't mess up my day. Now I have to know, am I in the wrong? Was I the bad apple?
Frick no, dude. That's so selfish of them to be like,
so
well, it's like, okay, well, you can easily say to that mother too and be like, oh, mom, like, you should be working an extra job then if you're having like, everybody could have pitched in that situation in some fashion. Why does the responsibility suddenly fall on her? Why? It's like, what if she's making the most money? That's even more selfish of the family to say, well, you're the breadwinner, so you gotta, why are you entitled to my money?
I know a friend that I met online, and she's killing it. She's doing a great job. And she funds not only her life, but her parents and her sister. And like, she's had to put limits on their credit cards.
Oh, I believe it, because they'll take advantage.
Yes. And so she has a house in another state for when she goes on vacation, but now her sister's living in it, so when she goes on vacation, she can't even stay in her own house. And that, I know that the situations are different. Like, I get that, you know, mom's sick and they're going through a rough whatever, but I don't think it's her responsibility. Like, she's getting married, she's about to be funding a life for her own little family unit. That's not fair to put that burden on someone who's also trying to start their own family.
When it's saying, I don't care about what you're trying to build or what you're trying to create here, you need to pay. I don't care about your life whatsoever, you better help. Like, that's lame. That's selfish.
And I do think, you know, it would be nice. Like, I'm not saying that she should feel entitled to, but I'm saying that if she chose to support, that would be great, and that's awesome, but that's not necessarily expected or necessary or required. It would just be out of the goodness of her own heart, and there's nothing wrong if she wants to, but if she can't because she's trying to build her own life and her own family, there's nothing wrong with that at all, in the slightest bit. And I think that's really unfair for her family to put that burden on her, as if she can't continue with her own life because they're in a rough patch. And again, it's a sticky situation. It's not fun. It's not a fun situation, but I don't think it's this girl's responsibility. Would you do it?
I'd help as much as I could.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not gonna give all my stuff. It's like, bro, I gotta live at the end of the day.
Right, and you have to think she's probably paying for her own wedding also. Weddings are not cheap. Oh my God, just thinking back to like numbers from when Avery and I got married. So I'm going good apple.
Good apple. I have such offensive jokes, and I'm like restraining myself.
Look at you. See, he loves me, guys. Look at how much he loves me.
See, look, I'm restricting myself.
This is
just
real
for
friendship.
Rebecca. Exactly.
Jokes on the way to the mall.
If I say something messed up, like, I get in trouble, you don't. It's gonna be like, wow, can you believe that host or that
one guy, that marshmallow?
It's like, well, my Make-A-Wish was to be on your show, so I mean.
Just for the record, he does not have cancer. He has alopecia. I just feel like we needed everyone to know that. Are you done? I put poison in his cup.
She waited, she knew I would make the joke then, so the poison was layered right at the
It was really calculated. Apple number 3. Am I the bad apple for disowning my brother? A little background first. My brother, 41 male, and I, 39 female, are 18 months apart. Full disclosure, we're the youngest two of 6 with our mother and father, each bringing 2 kids in the family when they were married. There was crazy sibling rivalry growing up, but it really escalated when we reached our 20s and reached a point where we couldn't really be around each other except for holidays and such. During this period, there were several major events and decisions that our parents made regarding us two that, to put it lightly, I strongly then and to this day felt as though I was being taken advantage of in order to benefit my brother. Either way, that's history, and I've moved on with my life, and now I'm happier and in a better life and career than just trying to make things work with the family. Jump ahead a few years, I've moved away and have made North Carolina my home. The distance seemed to create a large enough barrier to keep tensions down where we're not all buddy-buddy, but we can coexist and be a normal family during holidays. In March 2020, our father passed away and unfortunately didn't have a formal will. While you would think that our mother still being alive wouldn't make that an issue, think again. When our parents formally handed over ownership of the family business to my brother and he moved the office and warehouse to a brand new location while leaving 2 decently sized buildings roughly halfway filled with tools and equipment and furniture that our parents, primarily our fathers, routinely asked him to clean out so the properties could be sold, he would get to it. 8 years later and it's still not done. Back to our father passing away, we all agreed that my brother would keep our father's truck, which made sense, and that we would all have some opportunity to go to the old warehouses and select items that were there that we wanted to keep. Everything was going as planned until my mother brought up selling the properties. My brother flipped out because according to him, Dad had left everything to him and that the buildings were actually property of the company and needed to legally be deeded to him. Jump ahead another few months to let the dust settle of all that craziness. When I returned to Mississippi, I learned that all of the items that I picked from my dad's from the warehouses, he deemed property of the company and I wasn't even allowed to keep them. The few things from my father that I picked out, I wasn't allowed to have. To make matters worse, I was the only sibling he did that to. All of our other siblings were allowed to keep everything they picked. It was only me, every single item that I wanted. When I learned that all of this happened, I asked my mom and she just said,
Let's keep the peace and leave it alone. We don't want another fight.
I told my mom that this was the last straw, me not being able to have anything from my father after he passed, and I never wanted to be near my brother again. This past Christmas, my mom bought me a plane ticket so I could come visit her for the holidays, but she accidentally let it slip that my brother was going to be there.
Oh, I have a friend.
She doesn't even jump up with me.
It's because I'm bald.
I told my mom that I disowned my brother, that I didn't want to be anywhere near him, and I wasn't coming to a family holiday if not only he treated me that way, but my family let him treat me that way. My mom was devastated that I wasn't going to be there for the holidays, but I felt like I had to stick up for myself. So I need to know, was I the bad apple for disowning my brother and abandoning my family during the holidays?
No.
I don't think so either.
Literally, it's like at that point, your parents should have been the ones to step in and say to whatever, let's pretend his name is Adam. Adam, you really fricked up and you need to go apologize to your sister and make amends and let her have that stuff. And if you don't, you better stay away from this family gathering because we're not gonna have bad blood. And if you are creating bad blood in this situation, you need to get out of here.
I'm really disappointed that the mom didn't do anything. She's like, I'll leave it alone.
Let it be.
What?
So I know like a lot of times moms want to be the peacekeepers. Like in my family, I know my grandmother is also very big on being the peacekeeper and wants to keep. So my mother is one of 4 sisters.
Oh wow.
And you can imagine they butt heads sometimes.
Right.
And so yeah, whenever there's butting heads, obviously grandmother wants to come in and say, let's be cool guys. I mean, there's one person we don't talk to specifically and they keep trying to make amends, but no, it's like, it makes sense. The mom's trying to be like, it's okay, we're all good. No, We're not good, and there needs to be something done about this.
I don't understand how this mom can't understand that she's not actually keeping the peace. Like, she's letting that anger and frustration and resentment fester. I'm really fortunate that I still have both my parents around, but Avery's mom passed away a few years ago, and I can't even imagine the chaos that would enthuse if he wasn't allowed to have anything
It's kind of
from
gross.
her. Like,
It's disgusting, dude.
that is so gross. Like, that's your parent. It would be bad enough if the brother was like, oh, I'm gonna make sure that I hoard all of this stuff. The one sibling,
Yep, that's so
the
messed
one
up.
sibling that is like your full sibling, because all the other siblings are half siblings. All of them. This is just so messed up to me. I
Yep.
feel my heart is breaking for her.
I'm a firm believer too that, you know, you didn't ask to get born into your family.
I say that all the
So
time.
family does not have to be connected to you, and if you got problems with them, it's like, okay, bye.
I always say that just because someone shares blood and DNA with you does not give them permission to abuse you or treat you a certain way. Like, that's messed up. Someone being family does not mean you can't cut them out. No, that doesn't work that way.
Yep.
Oh, dang it. We're gonna get a third guest here.
El gatito.
Y'all's favorite. She's really everybody's favorite. Apple number 4. Am I the bad apple for snapping at a coworker over a salad? I, 23 female, am a little heavier than I'm supposed to be, even without my pregnancy. This incident happened last year before I was even carrying my child. My BMI was 31, by my doctor's standards is obese, but not morbidly so. And my weight was in the 150s to 160s, which for my height is pretty heavy, according to my doctor. This happened when I was eating salad for lunch at work for 6 months straight, and everyone thought the reason I wanted to was to lose weight. I'm actually one of those weirdos that have just always liked veggies growing up way more than meat. But I've always made sure that whatever I was eating was a full meal just to be healthy. I sat down with my salad and a lady came up to me and said,
Oh, honey, you don't need to lose weight. You just love yourself the way that you are.
I looked at her very confused and said, what are you talking about?
Bruh.
I just really like salad. She laughed and said,
Well, no one really likes salad. I can tell you're really just trying to lose weight.
I rolled my eyes at her and just went to eat my food, but she kept snapping her fingers in my face and saying,
Hello, I'm talking to you.
When I told her to just leave me alone, she kept just insisting very loudly that I had to be wanting to lose weight and I should just love myself the way that I am. She sees me eating salad every day. She knows what I'm trying to do and I should just be okay with myself. I laughed and told her that she obviously hasn't been listening to my mom, who also works at the same company, when my mom talks about my weird behaviors and choices at home. I also went on to say, you've obviously never seen my face light up or do a little dance when there's a salad in the cafeteria, or how I'm really bummed out when there isn't. She again, very loudly, told me that what I was eating wasn't real food, so I had to be lying, and insisted once again that I must be trying to lose weight and that I shouldn't feel like I have to. That's when I snapped. I'm not trying to lose weight. I just really like salad. What is wrong with you? And what is wrong about that? And just asked her to leave me alone. I actually got called into HR over this incident, and
Whoa.
I calmly explained the situation. HR said that I should have just ignored her instead of yelling in the cafeteria and causing a scene. I don't think I did anything wrong, but I was just talking to my mom about it the other day, and she said that I overreacted over nothing, even after I told her that I just wanted to eat in peace. She said that raising my voice like that in the workplace just wasn't the answer, and yes, it was justified to get me in trouble. Now I'm just so confused, and I want to know. Am I the bad apple?
Bruh, obviously not. It's like, first of all, like we talked about with backhanded compliments, like smile more. It's the same thing with me.
Why is he so attractive? Isn't he just like weirdly attractive?
Obviously, you're saying that because I'm bald. You're not gonna say weirdly attractive to a guy with hair. It's because you're like, well, he
Right.
doesn't look like everyone else. You're really attractive for a bald guy.
Oh,
It's like
no.
backhanded compliments like that and be like, you're supposed to love yourself, or thinking that they're helping you. It's like, you're not. And I also hate it too. It's like, you know, whenever I'll make a joke and people assume I'm being serious. We're like, oh, roast bald people is a joke. And they're like, no, you're beautiful. I'm like, dude, I have an organization called the Naked Confidence Campaign where I teach confidence for a living. It's a joke. And I hate people who are just like, no, love yourself, no. And it's like you're allowed to snap whenever somebody is just like being persistent that they're right. Yep. And that they know you, like, no, I'm inside your head. I am you. I am literally your physical manifestation of your subconscious, and I'm telling you how you get out of here, dude. Like, I probably would have intentionally caused a scene just to make a point. And that HR essentially said, screw your emotions. I don't care that obviously in the situation it would have made sense that you would have gotten frustrated. Being harassed, and the girl was instigating and persistent. It's like any rational person would get a rise. It's like the first time you're calm. No, that's not why. No, that's not why. Oh my gosh, I asked you to leave me alone.
She obviously was not going to leave her alone until she's like, you know what, you're right, I'm gonna throw away my food. Like, that's really what she wanted, for her to stop eating what she wanted to eat.
And starve.
I don't.
It's okay, what's she gonna eat now?
She doesn't want her to lose weight. She wants her to go get food that she doesn't want her to eat that's like not as healthy, I guess.
Like toss the salad and be like, pat her on the back, let's go get a Big Mac.
Well, literally what Tarzan and I were talking about in his podcast thing the other day was, because he asked me about, body positivity and fat shaming, things like that, and I just don't understand why it's other people's business. Yep. Like, I think it's great in general that this woman is like, oh, I hope people love themselves. I think that's a great mentality to have. But in general, like, it's not her business if this woman wants to lose weight or not. It's not her business. It's her body. She can choose to love herself or she can choose to want to lose weight, but that's not even the situation at hand.
Nope.
Why is it her business what this girl wants to eat?
Nope. Yep.
Why? Like, mind your business. Why is it so hard for people to do to just mind their business?
Sometimes you just gotta, do you think I should tell that girl that she should stop eating salad?
Honestly, the audacity of that woman, and like, I thought it was a little much to just go up to someone who's actively eating their food and being like, you don't need this, you're fine, because that assumes so much. And that's like, what if this person, you don't know what this person is going through.
What if it's just a vegan?
What, right, I didn't even think about that. Yes, you don't know. Why would you go up to someone in the first place? But after being told, no, I'm good, once, twice, 3 times? I didn't even count, I don't have my glasses on, but that's a Susan. Anyways, I think we got 4 good apples, right? That was our overall vote. Oh, lots of good people.
Good people. Well, there were bad apples that were in the stories.
Yes. Oh, for sure. I feel like it's really self-aware and empathetic people. They're always like, did I hurt someone's feelings? Did I do something wrong? Like, I feel that so hard. So we had a whole good bushel today. I need to make an icon for that. That's on my to-do list next week.
It's a golden apple.
Here, no, I still haven't found a golden one, but we can pretend it's gold.
Wow, oh my gosh.
You wanna do the buzzer?
Midas touch, bam. Wow, it just became gold.
Did you agree with us? Did you not agree with us? Let us know down in the comments if there's any perspectives that you might have thought of that we haven't, or if you disagreed with anything that we said for any reason. We love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much, Niku, for hanging out with me today.
It's been great.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
And you're gonna have a fantastic day because you're just an amazing bad mama jamma.
I love that. We hope that you have the absolute best day and the best week ever, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. I'll put Nico's little link thing in my description somewhere, but see you guys later. Thank you, my lovelies. Bye.